Back or moving on now to the markets, the BRVM 10 index closed trading on Monday at 230.64 points, up by 1.96%. Meanwhile, the all-share index, which is also the BRVM composite, gained 1.68% to close at 206.63 points. Our total value traded climbed to 297 million CFA francs. The currency for the region is trading at 509.07 against the US dollar, now putting its year-to-date change at 1.93%. Moving on to Ghana, it was a public holiday yesterday. Well, however, the GSC Composite Index closed trading on Friday at 1,859.33 points, up by 0.38%, keeping its year-to-date change at 54.98%. Meanwhile, the GSC Financial Stock Index closed at 1,650.02 points, up by 0.50%. The year-to-date change for that index now stands at 58.6%. And then moving out here to Nigeria, the NSE All-Share Index closed at 37,350.53 points, with a marginal gain of 0.10%. Well, IPWA rather led the gainers chart with a gain of 10%, while others were Advance Med, Ikeja Hotel, Nestle, Unilever, Dangote Cement, PZ, and Dangote Sugar. Cadbury led the losers list with a loss of 10%. Others were Eterna, Interbrew, Total, Julius Berger, and Flour Mill. The year-to-date return is now at 33.15%. For more Nigeria's equity market performance, I'm joined by Idris Toriola. He's an equities dealer at Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Idris. Well, let's start off with Cadbury. Now, we saw some profit taken on that stock yesterday. Losing about 10% to close at 54 naira. Now, this stock also returned over 54% to investors over the space of 2 weeks. Talk to us on the kind of volatility we're seeing with these stocks lately.
As you rightly mentioned, over a two-week span, we saw Cadbury gain about 54%, and this can be linked to the Q1 numbers we saw released by Cadbury in the market. We've seen Cadbury being able to manage their cost efficiently, thereby reducing their cost, and they've also been able to increase their volume. Growing their volume over 3%, and sourcing for raw materials at even cheaper costs, thereby growing their earnings at the end of the day. And I guess this is a good one for Cadbury, looking at where they're coming from and the issues that have rocked the company over the years. And the company is gradually posting positive numbers, and investors, and what we've seen is investors just are taking position to enjoy the good earnings that Cadbury is going to release at the end of the year.
We're talking about investors. We saw Cadbury also trade at a fresh high of 66 naira yesterday, though it closed at 54 naira. So do you think it's a good entry point for investors at this point?
Well, looking at the way Cadbury has rallied over the span of 2 weeks, there's bound to be profit taking at some point, which actually happened yesterday. We might see this profit taking continue for some couple of days, but I don't see it dropping significantly. So investors with interested in buying Cadbury can start buying gradually now, as the entry point is coming near.
While I was staying with the consumer space, I would like to get your thoughts on Dangote Sugar. Now, this is a highly capitalized stock, which also contributed to the gains on the NSE index yesterday, gaining about 6%. Now, what are your overall thoughts on this stock?
Well, as you rightly mentioned, Dangote Sugar was one of the stocks that led to the gain of 10 basis points on the ASI yesterday. And we've actually seen a lot of volatility in Dangote Sugar, and each closing at over 10 naira yesterday. It's really gained points over the year. Well, obviously, looking at Dangote Sugar's number, they've been able to source raw sugar at really low levels, and they've also been able to grow their production, thereby increasing their supply for sugar. And this has really translated into positive earnings for the organization. So what we've seen is investors have looked at these numbers and seen how the company has performed, and they are willing to buy into this company so that they can enjoy the good benefits it may provide at the end of the day.
Well, moving on now, financial stocks dominated the gainers table yesterday. NSE Banking Index rose 0.3%. Now, what are the factors boosting the sector's performance right now? As we have seen, all the major results in that space already, and, can this be sustained?
Yeah, looking at the banking sector has actually been the most active sector in the market, and we've seen a lot of banks hit their all-year high prices. Looking at GTB trading as high as 30 naira. What we've actually seen is most banks, investors have looked at the banks, and they've seen that banks are being run efficiently, and with the efficient running of this bank, they expect that at the end of the day, this should pose into good profitability for these banks. And with good profitability means more income for the investors, and the investors are actually happy to buy them. Even looking at the risks of these banks, as it is now, it seems that the risks are really low now, and investors are willing to pay for the stocks.
Oh, well, just before you go, let's get your stock picks for the week.
Well, we like First Bank, we like Diamond Bank.
All right. What are your reasons, though?
Well, we see good upside potentials for these two stocks, and they are being run efficiently, so we expect them to do well at the end of the year.
Okay, but before you go, I'm just going to have to hold you down on the banking sector, since you're picking stocks from that sector. Now, Unity Bank was the toast of the day, yesterday, trading over 60 million shares, worth 39.7 million naira. What's your thought on this stock?
Looking at Unity Bank, it has traded at par for a long time, and when they brought out their result, investors saw that yes, they've come back into profitability, and it's being run efficiently, and it's being rebranded, and we expect them to do well at the end of the year. So we've seen a lot of buying interest in Unity Bank and a lot of investors taking position in them.